So welcome everyone to a webinar about study and business pathway to New Zealand. We are Arbin Intellect and we have offices in multiple countries, including Singapore, India, New Zealand. This webinar is basically about to give you the pathway options, what are there, and how you can either study in New Zealand or migrate to New Zealand. Now, to give a background, we have two speakers for the day, myself, Bharat Chawla, and we have Son Lim, who is a licensed immigration advisor, who will be supporting on all the migration questions and options. Now, giving my background, I'm in this industry for nearly 2 decades now, supported around 16,000 plus students to move to New Zealand. And our teams are there, who've been working behind me. So this is the list of big teams working with me to support the process. And we have multiple people who can speak multiple languages and have experience of up to 20 years, if I'm saying that very well. Going to Son, will you like to provide a bit of your brief and for next few seconds or 30 seconds?
Okay, my name is Son Lim. I'm a licensed immigration advisor. I actually started about 10 years ago. Initially, my focus was in doing a lot of investor and business visas, and I have extended to all sort of other visas as well, including appeal to tribunals and Section 61 requests. So basically, I cover all the visa application except refugees.
Great, thank you, Son. So guys, just to give you a heads up, why New Zealand? What is the background? I believe people, if you don't know New Zealand, we'll cover about New Zealand also. That again, it's excellent education system. The country is on the eastern side of Australia. We are an OECD country. Technically, it's a part of Commonwealth also. There are 8 universities in New Zealand, and there are 1 super polytechnic or around 16 polytechnics who are merged together. And then we have hundreds of private training providers. Now, all the 8 universities in New Zealand are in top 500 ranking. Again, it's a good outcome in terms of Australian education. Now, there are multiple pathways for residents, for students who are coming to study here, who want to stay back and work here, or they can, if they want to go back to their home country, they're welcome to go back. New Zealand is one of the safest destinations, a peaceful destination. We are a land, we are not a landlocked country. We are an island country, so you don't have much issues with any kind of border issues, which are most of the time kind of generating a lot of conflict. Now, and every student can work while studying. So there is, again, a lot of potential, a lot of opportunities. And the best part is that New Zealand opened the borders a year ago in August 2022, which was one of the last countries to open the borders in the OECD in terms of study destination. So again, it is a good part because New Zealand is still attracting a lot of students for the coming years. Now, giving a bit of a brief on the map, if you see, we are on the eastern side. Again, it's if you take out from Malaysia or from other ASEAN region, we have a direct flight options available from Singapore, from Malaysia, from Philippines, or we talk about from Indonesia. It's a good sign. It's 8 to 12 hours flight, depending on the location. And there are multiple options to come through in. Now, as discussed, there are 8 universities in New Zealand. Ideally, most of the 8 universities are popular in terms of the courses. They offer around 4,500 courses altogether. So, which is again a good way to go in. Now, as we were discussing, the New Zealand offers, apart from university, there are institution of technology and polytechnics, or we call as a government-funded TAFE provider as for Australia, or these are vocational providers. They offer qualifications from certificate level 1 to PhD. So again, the opportunities are there which can be gone. And we'll talk through each and every option for you guys. And apart from New Zealand, like compared to other countries like Australia or Canada, New Zealand, you can come and study with a private training providers also. The benefit is that you still get a post-study work right, you still get work right, you still get visa for that. So that's a very unique difference compared to other countries. You are getting private colleges who can give you post-study work right. The difference is that you are getting a low fees compared to the fee structure. That's a major difference only. Now, I will be tagging to Son again. Son, you're welcome to let me know wherever you want to speak. You can tag in. I'll be happy with that. Now, the schooling system, son, you want to talk about it?
Basically, this is just a screenshot of what you can expect in New Zealand for schooling from primary to secondary. So in New Zealand, we have a number of options besides the government qualifications. That is NCEA. You can see that is the NCEA level 1, 2, and 3. There are other options as well. Some people actually opt for Cambridge, and some state school also offer a Cambridge, but it's getting less and less. And then some, of course, most private schools actually offering Cambridge and IB. And besides this, we also have foundations course like the pre-university. It's actually very popular. There are few schools that actually offer that, like Auckland U, Auckland University of Technology, Victoria Universities, and a few other universities that offer on-campus foundation courses. So if your children are interested in this type of programs, you can, I mean, other than the tertiary education, you can actually approach us, and then we can actually help you to enroll your kids, your children to all these schools, either state school, integrated school, or private schools. Yeah, next.
Thank you. So going on to the overall education system, like we said, there are levels of education. Now, this is very common when you talk about your home country. There are bachelor's and master's and postgraduate or a PhD. New Zealand calls them as a level. So there are levels from 1 to 10. 10 is a PhD or a doctoral degree. Level 9 is master's, which is equivalent to master's in all other countries. Level 8 is a postgraduate diploma, which is a 1-year qualification, which is going in. And then we have level 7, which is a bachelor's qualification. So again, there are multiple options for people to come in, and there are multiple ways or multiple levels you can get visa for. Now, as San said, that you have multiple options to bring a family in, and there are benefits for them to come into as a group. Now, I'll go over a brief here, and again, Son, you let me know if you want to talk about it.
Okay, let me talk about this. Basically, I think we quickly go through all the slides, and then we'll discuss about what are the pathway, what are the strategy where you can come in. Okay, post-study work visas are available for those that who are enrolling in certain programs and certain level of educations or studies. So you can see on this chart, just have to be careful before you enroll into any of the programs. You have to discuss with us, and then we can tell you what sort of programs that actually allows you to do a post-study work visa. And this is very important because post-study work visa is actually what people are after, because after you enroll certain courses and you finish your courses, and then you are eligible for post-study work visa. And this post-study work visa allow you to, generally is an open work visa. What it means that you can work with any employer, right? Literally any employer, whether they are accredited or not, and whether they are actually paying you a certain wage that is required by immigration or not, doesn't matter. But because this open work visa allows you to gain some experience and for you to move on to higher pay, higher rate, whereby with that, you are able to achieve your residence goal, because this is very important features of our program is to allow you to have post-study work visa. And of course, it depends on what type of level and what type of programs that you're enrolling. For example, the most popular at the moment, and this what we encourage people to do, is the master degree. The reason is that master degree allows you 3 years post-study work visa. You have ample of time to actually find a job, work your way up, and then find a skill job that pay the medium wage that will pave a way for you to gain residence. Okay. So of course, other programs are popular as well. Depends on, for example, certain level 7 course in constructions, they also have a direct pathway to, or I wouldn't say direct pathway, has a what they call work to resident pathway. Cool. So you can talk to our student counselor. Once you have interest, let us know. Then we can actually direct you to the right direction based on your experience, based on your background, based on your budget. Okay. Next. Yeah. So I've briefly told you about why post-study work visa is very important. Okay, so maybe we move on. Next one. Okay, this is more about residency, not so much about study anymore. Because at the end of the day, I think most of you will be interested into what sort of option that you have after you finish your study. Okay, so generally there are three skill-based pathway, right? Skill migrant resident pathway. This is just started this year. So it's a new pathway. It's completely different from the old pathway. Old pathway is 180 points, but now we have simplified into only 6 points. You only need to gain 6 points, but for this 6 points, they emphasize heavily on your qualification. Yeah, your qualification, and not so much on your number of work experience overseas, whether your experience is directly relevant or related to your study or not. No, we don't talk about that anymore. We talk about qualifications and the skill work experience in New Zealand. It's very important. That's why post-study work visa is very, very important and it's very useful pathway. Okay. Of course, we have green list pathway and we call sector agreement pathway. Green list, next, then you'll see a lot of occupation or qualification that is available on the green list.
Great. Now, can I add here is that, so see, we are not covering a specific institution or a qualification in today's webinar. But again, anybody or anyone who want to get the further details for the study pathway, we are trying to see that what happens after the study pathway, and that's what we're covering in today. Giving on the time, I will ask everyone, please ask a question in the Q&A box while we are going through the slide, and we can deep dive into detail on each and every question. So over to Son.
Yeah, this is basically this slide is actually very important. This is actually simplify all the pathway for skill. We're talking about skill migrations. Okay, this is the snapshot of all the pathway that you have. Okay, it says 4 different ways or 3 different ways. It depends on how you look at it. So the first one is the one that we are talking about, skill migrant category, which is a new point system. You only need to gain 6 points. So you have if you have a PhD or you have an job offer that paying you 3 times the median, so you gain 6 points. And that itself is not enough. You need to have a skill employment. So you must have a job. Just getting 6 points is not enough. You must have a job. And then you also need to make sure that you pass your English. So normally, if you have gained master degree or PhD, you would have been deemed to have met the English requirements. Okay. So the other one is the most popular one, I would say master degree at the moment, because most people ask, wanted to do PhD, but the problem with PhD is that once you finish, is unless you are able to find a job in university, otherwise it's difficult to get jobs in New Zealand for a PhD. The reason is because people are not going to pay you for your qualifications. Okay, so they prefer someone who are more into master degree, like master in IT, master in construction, master in teaching, master in business administration. These are more popular courses whereby when you finish your study, most of the time under this program, you will have a internship along the way, as part of your program, whereby you actually work or actually work in New Zealand in a corporate, right? Either for pay or for free, but at least you could get exposure, and then you have to run certain projects, and then you can present your project as part of your program to those companies that participating in the study. So you actually have direct contact with employer. Okay, so the other one will be if you are young people, so you have ample of time, do a bachelor degree or do a postgraduate diploma. When you finish, you only need 3 years work experience, skill work experience in New Zealand. Then you will have enough points to move on to residence pathway. The other two will be green list. Green list we later on we'll show you a list of all the occupations and qualifications that meet the green list requirement. So basically, green list, there are two green lists. One is a tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1, basically, if you have those qualifications, you meet those what they call it requirements on the green list tier 1, you have direct pathway, what we call straight to residence. You can apply to residence. Of course, again, you must have a job. You must have an offer of employment and skill employment. Okay. Normally, those on the tier 1, they are actually highly demanded occupation anyway. So tier 2 is that you need to work 2 years. Okay, so I think like, for example, teachers is one of them. There are certain professions that are under tier 2, so you need to work 2 years. Then you have a pathway to residence. The other ones, currently care workforce and transport sector is still popular, but the thing is that, so I don't know what Bharat may agree or disagree that these two sectors are actually it's getting full. It's actually slowing down because we have absorbed too many of these people coming into New Zealand. So ideally it's not a right pathway for the today's audience. Okay, so yeah, next. Yeah, again, this is the green list pathway. You have either straight to residence or 2 years relevant work experience in New Zealand, and it has to be a skill. We need to there's a requirement. The job must be paying at least the medium wage. Okay, the current medium wage is 29.66, which translates into about, if based on 40 hours, it's about 61,000 New Zealand dollars. So if you are getting that salary, then you have an opportunity to move on to becoming a New Zealand resident. Okay, next.
Now, I can add just on this, is that, guys, so there are around 160 qualifications under the green list pathway. So again, we will be talking about those again, and we will be sharing that what are there. Now, we don't want it to make the presentation look big. We just want to make sure that we talk to you guys, and every student have the different kind of background. There you go.
Yeah.
So these are the green list options. Again, if you see the green list roles, there are roles which is in engineering, ICT, which is in vet worker, which is in health worker, which are in teaching also. So there are multiple options available. And the idea is that when you are in the green list role, you are actually applying with the help of a kind of somehow tricky. We just need to see which qualification are linked to which occupation. And this is where we will work with you, work together, and see that how this can be taken forward. So you can see where the health options are a lot. Then we have engineering, we have construction management, we have options in nursing, teaching, veterinarian. Again, the software testers. If you see, a lot of IT qualifications are sitting in that. A lot of the health qualifications are sitting into that. Again, the major part, the primary and the secondary teachers, which is coming into it. Now, over to you. So, you want to cover this, or you want me to cover it?
You can cover this one. Basically, I already covered some part of it, because if you do PhD, you know, unless you are able to actually go into university jobs, otherwise, unfortunately, the job prospect is not that good. Okay, I'm not discouraging you guys to apply for a PhD, but just beware of it, because number one, PhD take 3 to 4 years to finish, and after that you have to find a job. Otherwise, you're wasting 3-4 years of your time.
Agreed.
Okay, next.
Again, this is the same. We are going into detail of each and every point. What sound actually talked about it. So the best part of the idea is that if somebody coming for masters, they have a pathway towards residency. Straightforward, you come into 6 points. Well, with 5 points you get from your course and 1 point you get from your skilled work area. Coming down to when you're doing a PhD, straight towards your residence after getting 6 points. Now, and when you're going to a postgraduate diploma, there's a pathway towards 4+2. So again, how we want, this is where we will be helping you around how to get towards that pathway, how to work towards your qualification, and what to go in. What we have seen a primary student coming or now with the families is from the master's pathway, because you come for a study, your spouse get a full-time work right while you're studying, and again you have a 3-year post-study work right where your family and again your spouse can work, and again kids can study education at a minimal cost. Now, Son, you want to go in detail, or should we just skip on and go towards the points?
I mean, again, this is I'm actually trying to promote this course, this master qualifications. So far we have I have quite a number of Malaysians actually coming here to do master degree, and I want to tell you why master degree is good. Master or PhD, if you do master degree, your partner and your spouse can actually come together with you and get a open work visa. So while you're studying, your spouse can actually work in New Zealand because they will have an open work visa. I have many example of clients who are on enrolled in master degree, and the spouse, the moment they land in New Zealand, the spouse got a job. And I have one currently doing very well, and the wife hasn't finished the master degree yet, and in fact, her husband was getting a very high pay job, just slightly 100 over 1,000 IT role. So this is where I want to talk to you about is your strategy. Sometimes it may not be the person who has highest qualifications should study. It depends on your circumstances, your budget, and who are actually easier to get a job. All right. Even if your spouse are not able to get a job, for example, but you still have a 3 years open work visa following on. So you have ample of times to actually find a job. You only need 1 year of skill work experience after your master degree. While you do master degree, your spouse can get an open work visa and your children can come here and study. So basically, I have this family who come here, 5 of them. Just one person study, the other will get a open work visa. The 3 children actually studying here in New Zealand for free for primary or secondary schools. So it is a very good deal because they have been sending their kids to international school or private school in Malaysia, and it cost them a lot of money as well. So they saved up the money, they use it for 1 year master degree, cost about 60,000 New Zealand dollars, and the whole families are here, and they'll be here for at least 4 or 5 years. Okay, so at the same time, you have opportunity to apply for residence based on your study, based on your ability, your eligibility to work in New Zealand for at least 3 years. Okay, or if your spouse is actually 4 years. So it's a very, very good pathway for those professionals. Someone in the chat box about asking what is the age. So for skilled migrants as a principal applicant, your age must be 55 or below. So the maximum is 55 years old. Okay.
I think sorry, go ahead. I think we'll cover the question in the last if you're okay, because again, it'll be easier because I want guys, please ask as many questions. Now coming around, just to give you a heads up, the master's pathway, the minimum master's qualification starts at $31,000. So there is actually a very huge opportunity to how the conversion goes in. Now, one thing which we have highlighted is the skilled work experience, because a lot of people say that, oh, will I get a job and how much a job will be? So there are various opportunities and options of the how much the salary should be and what should it look like, and we'll come on to that too.
Yeah.
So coming around the skilled migrant category pathway for points where you're getting 4 points and how you get it. So coming on the 4 point, if you're doing a postgraduate diploma, you're doing a bachelor's or honors degree, you normally don't get a 5 points, you get a 4 points. And for that 4 points, you need another 2 points to go towards your skilled migrant path, which means that you have to work at least for 2 years in a skilled work area with a salary range of $30 and above. And again, that should be a full-time salary to come into the picture. Now, again, like I said, there are multiple ways of skill level to go in. If you're in 1 to 3, it's a 1.5 of median wage. And again, sorry, if it is a 1 to 3, you are in a median wage of you are in median wage, and if it is a level 4 to 5, you are
Yeah.
it's 1.5 times. So example is that the median wage is 29.66 if I'm correct. So or $30 per hour. You need to be at $30 per hour in a skill level 1 to 3 job. Now 1 to 3 is basically all the jobs which are in managerial level role, or it's actually major area of the roles coming in. And skill level 4 is where you have to get around $45 per hour to get towards your migrant pathway. Now, coming down to bachelor's and PG certificate, is the same area coming in. You get 3 points for a bachelor's, but you get a 3-year post-study work right, which can lead towards your 3 year skilled work area and 3 points for that. So again, depend how you are, what you're doing, and how the pathway goes in. Now, it doesn't mean that if you don't get a 3-year post-study work right, you can't get your 3-year skilled work. Now, there are options for that too, which Sean will talk about in the later slides. Now, over to you, Sean, on the career and workforce sector.
Okay, care workforce and transport sector are specific sectors that for a healthcare worker or some drivers. They are it's not any driver. It must be on those companies are having a what they call a sector agreement with the government. Okay, of course there are quite a number of them, and this is but to be honest, this pathway is actually quite full at the moment, and the industry is a bit tight in terms of I mean they have I wouldn't say oversupply of people, but this is not something that at the moment that we encourage you to look at. But if you are interested, you can talk to us as well. But I will just quickly go through this. Yeah. So basically, if you are a care worker or a driver, say for example in the transport sector, or a shipmaster, okay, so you need to meet. For each sector, there's a requirements of pay rate. Certain pay rates are actually lower than the medium, but not much lower. But most of the pay rate is still require you to get medium wage. The only thing is that they don't look at your qualifications that much. You don't have to have a bachelor degree in order to get points. There's no points required. The only other thing is that you must be in this job for 2 years, okay? And you must also have passed the English test of IELTS 6.5. So this is where most people get stuck. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, partner of a student visa. So like I say, it depends on what sort of a program you are embarking on. If you are doing master and above, your partner is eligible for a work visa. But if not, they will get a visitor visa. Okay. Now, this is very important because, can we go to the next slides?
I think. Yeah. So it's been, it's primarily more about the detail we can talk about. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Child of a student visa path. When you are studying, what visa is eligible for your kids? Most of the time, visitor visa. Unless you do PhD, then your kids can get a student visa dependent on you. But if you are doing master, you can bring your spouse. Okay, your partner can get an open work visa, and with that open work visa of your partners, your kids can come to New Zealand on a domestic student visa. Okay, this is the difference, and that's why if the whole family wants to move to New Zealand together, it's better to take master degree. But if you are single, okay, you are not worried, you don't have partners, then you can do level 7, level 8. There's no issue.
Sure. I think, what we'll do is, guys, we see, this was a basic overview what we wanted to cover. Now, we want to go with the Q&A side because that will give you a lot of more detail, because what we've seen in the question is the student is that how is my pathway looking? So what I'll do is that I'll go to the slide, which is a kind of major slide we'll talk through, but we'll start taking the questions. Is that correct? So we have question from
Yep.
Josku, and again, apologize if I can't spell your name right, because again, we've been learning more and more. So Josku said, may I check with you if 50 years old is still possible to or for NZPR or citizenship? I believe yes. Over to you, Son.
Okay, basically the age limit is based on what type of category of visa that you're applying. So if you are doing skilled migrant, it's up to 55 years old. Okay, you still have a chance, 55 years old. For citizenship, there's no age limit, but the only requirement is that you need to be living in New Zealand for at least 5 years. Okay, now before I move on, I just want to tell the audience what is the difference between PR and resident visa. Most people talk about PR, but when we talk as a professional, we talk about resident visa because you don't get permanent residence straight away, you get resident visa. Okay, normally it's 2 years. After 2 years, you meet the requirement, then you convert to or you apply for a permanent residence. Now, a lot of people get confused. They thought that, oh, resident visa is not PR, but resident visa is actually but it's the same as PR, except that you need to renew it. So there's no difference from Australian PR, Canada PR, UK PR, US PR. Okay, so Australia every 5 years or 4 years, I can't remember, you need to renew it. And you have to renew it every 5 years. Whereas New Zealand, after you gain your RV for 2 years, convert or change it to PR, then it's for life. You don't have to renew it anymore. That's the difference. New Zealand PR is for life. Other countries PR is only up to between 4 to 5 years. That's the difference. Okay, so most people think that this is a PR, but we normally call it resident visa.
Resident visa. So,
Yeah.
so just giving again, resident visa is for technically after getting it 2 years and then you apply for PR, and that is
Yep.
again like what sounded. So we'll go to Ishrar Tabassum, and I believe she's from Bangladesh. I would like to get an opportunity to research in NZ with fully funding. Is it possible? I also would like to work as a research associate. Now, if you're okay, Son, can I answer this question?
Yeah.
See, Ishrar, just to give you a heads up, there are options of fully funding available. Now, the best part of New Zealand PhD or research is that even you don't get fully funding, the fees of a PhD is between $7,000 to $9,000 per year, which is lowest or equivalent to the domestic student. So what happened is that even you don't get a fully funding from the university, the cost is very low. And if you ask me technically, it's the lowest in all the OECD countries to come in. And the other best part, if you're going for a research or a PhD in New Zealand, you're actually on the path toward skilled migrant category, towards residence. So yes, you can work full time while you are doing a PhD research. You can apply for fully funding. Now you need to reach out to the university research department, or you have to look into which are the professors who are doing the research, and you need to align your research to that area. There are 8 universities only, so you don't need to do a lot of hard work on that if you see. But then, yes, there are a lot of options available for researchers in New Zealand. So, you want to add on to this? Do you want to add anything on this? Or no?
Yeah, the only thing is that you need to be able to find a professor who's going to who's going to supervise you. So this is very important. Once you manage to find a supervisor, then you can apply for a PhD. And of course, there are other PhD like doctorate in business. Okay, those are fully those are different category. You have to pay full fees.
Self-sponsored. Yeah, self-sponsored. It's not a fully sponsored.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I can totally agree on this. And again, the good part of it, when you're applying for research, your spouse can work full time. They can come with you, and the kids can study as a domestic fees if they're between age of 5 to 17 or 18, from primary school to the college. So again, going to Ishran, your question is, can I get some link of the professor of the university and college in NZ? I did my master's in climate change and development. Now, Ishran, I always recommend all these researchers to go to in all the 8 universities and see who is doing research in your area aligned to you. Now, if you can't find a researcher, and that's where what Son said, 6 to 9 months is the average time for a mentor or a supervisor to come back to you and align with you. What we say, if you are not able to find the research professor, apply for the relevant masters, because that might be a fast track towards you coming here. So we can only give you the link of universities, which is again globally available at university link, but we can't direct a professor because you need to provide your synopsis and the research proposal before you go into the find a supervisor. Son, you want to add anything on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think you have to find the supervisor yourself. Other than that, the rest of the things that we can help you in terms of immigrations and the processes and visa applications.
Okay,
Okay,
so I think
next.
yeah, Palash, you asked the question below was that what is the major difference in terms of PR, job opportunities, and post-study work permit, etc., between private college and government institution?
Um,
So,
it
son, I'm happy to
depends. It's
answer
all,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I think probably Bharat, you can answer that.
sure. And so I see post-study work permit. There is no difference between a private college or a government institution or a university. That is set by the New Zealand government or Immigration New Zealand. If you're studying a master's in a private college or a government college or a university, you will get a 3-year post-study work right. Now, the only difference what you see is that the fees difference is the primary difference. Now, getting a residence pathway or a job opportunities. Now, any pathway to residence or citizenship is a defined pathway by Ministry of Business and Innovation, which is Immigration New Zealand. Nobody, it's not relevant to the institution. Now, coming down to the job opportunity, now it depends on the area which you are going to study, how you're going in. There are multiple websites called Seek, example, seek.co.nz. These are job websites. We normally tell to everyone, please see the opportunities and courses are there. Now, do remember the courses of green list are actually where the demand is there. If you see here on this slide, the green list pathway, all courses in the green list actually are the long-term skill shortage or immediate skill shortage areas. Whereas jobs are there for every area. Now, 50% of students come for business-related courses. So there are opportunities. I will always add to every student that how good you are, how well you can, how confident you are, how you can sell yourself in terms of that. Why I'm more important. So options are there. And again, it's not you're not the only first student coming in. There are hundreds of students coming here. New Zealand every year takes around 25 to 30,000 students, which is good enough for the size of the country we are in. Going to Siobhan, I'm from Bangladesh, having 15 years of banking experience, especially from credit investment role. I'm 43 years of age. Can I be able to immigrate there? What's the IELTS requirement and other requirements as well? So, now let me know if you want to answer. Otherwise, I can answer that too.
Okay, I can answer it. Okay, basically, you need to find a job. Okay, if you're not doing any study, you need to find a skill job. It has to be paying medium wage. Okay, and you have to meet the IELTS requirement as well. All right, and if you have only with a say a bachelor, I don't know what's your background in terms of academic qualification. If it is just bachelor, what it means that you need to work in New Zealand for 3 years in order to get the 3 points, unless your pay is so high, all right, double the median or 3 times the median. All right, so this how if you look at this graph, then you know how you work out your points. Okay, so yeah, 43 years old is a good age. You're in a prime, and if you want to do study, which we encourage, that would be an ideal situation because you have more certainty in terms of getting an open work visa. It's very important because open work visa, you do not need to have an accredited employer. Basically, any employer can employ you, and basically sometimes employer would think that, hey, do I have to go through all this process to get you in? Of course, if you are very good, then I don't mind paying all this accreditation, job check, and help you to apply a accredited work visa. But if you already have an open work visa, they can, if they like you, they can just give you an offer and you can start work tomorrow. You don't have to go through immigration if you have an open work visa. And that work experience during open work visa counts. Okay, that is considered skill experience if you meet the skill experience requirement. Okay, you don't have to be on accredited work visa to be considered for the skill work experience that we talk about. Okay, yeah.
So again, adding to this, Sean, is that again, getting a job, again, study pathway is one of the easiest pathway. Getting a job, like Sean Sam said, it's a process, and that process has to be completed by both employee and the employer. So it's not straightforward too. Going on to Ian Koo. Hi, what if I'm still a high schooler and I plan on studying abroad after I graduate? If it is within my parents' budget and if I meet the criteria. I heard New Zealand is a good option for students like me. I wanted to ask if it's much more cheaper to study in New Zealand compared to Australia. So, sound
Can I
over to you.
answer this? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Ian. Basically, I think New Zealand is one of the best country to study. It's safe. It's a lot cheaper than Australia. Okay, and especially if you come here to do say a 3 years bachelor. Most of my clients who come here for bachelor, they find skill job easily because New Zealand needs a lot of young people and young people is easier to get jobs in terms of because if you are a senior, New Zealand is a very fair society. If you are senior, they won't, even though if you want to accept medium wage, say 29.66, but the company think that you should have more, they will pay you more. Okay, but at the moment, because of the economic situation, most employer would prefer young people. Okay, unless you have a special skill, unless you have a master degree. So it is a very I would say it's a very good at the moment it's a very good time for you to come in after your study 3 years. You get 3 years work visa, open work visa, and then during these 2 years of study you get to mix and learn about certain antics in terms of New Zealand employment, Kiwi job employment. You can even work part-time while you study. So those people who are coming here to study, you are eligible for 20 hours per week. So you get yourself exposed, get yourself immersed into the society. So I think, yes, definitely I would recommend that you should come to New Zealand because it's definitely cheaper than Australia.
Great. Now, I just want to add is that so if I talk about the return of investment of what you're investing in New Zealand, I in my career of like 20 years of students and getting 16,000 students or to New Zealand only, the ROI is pretty high compared to other countries, which means that you can work like sunset part-time 20 hours. It's like 1,400 hours in a year while you're studying, including your full-time work in your Christmas holidays. So ideally, yes, there's a positive outcomes coming in. Now I'll go to the next question next to it is that it's anonymous attendee. It's hardly possible to apply for job from abroad in India. All the jobs, especially mentioned that valid work visa is required. Yes, that is somehow the employers uh, do ask that because one, the process of getting a person hired from offshore is a bit tedious. They need to make sure that they have given that kind of relevant ads in New Zealand itself. On the other hand, what had happened in the past is that a lot of people who have been applying, they the are they eligible for that job? Are they able to deliver the outcome? So those kind of questions or like a kind of skill set experience is becoming a bit of challenge with the employers that what is on the CV, it is not able to deliver that. So you want to add on to this why that has been a bit of a challenge?
Yes. Let me answer this. Basically, that is why the reason that we encourage you to come here to study. When you are here, you have open work right, open work visa. Okay, the employer can actually see you instead of talking to you over the phone or through emails. How it won't give them confidence. And you must remember that New Zealand have a very strict labor law that actually pro employees. So when they employ you as a permanent staff, it's not easily they can let you go or sack you or fire you. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why employer are reluctant to get or to hire direct from overseas unless they are very sure that you meet their requirements. And if you come here and study, you have open work rights. They see you, they interview, they know that you have a New Zealand experience. And a lot of job ads in SEEK, you can find out that most employer wants you to have New Zealand experience. So the reason is that they want you to understand the culture, to know not just the physical work itself, but the culture, the ethics, of employment in New Zealand. And that's why we encourage you to actually come here and experience the work environment, work culture after your study.
Agreed, and I think that makes it a lot easier for employer. Like, and we totally agreed with that. So going to CKL, if I'm attached with an MNC and get an expat position in NZ, would that be enable me to obtain residency status after 2 years or 3 years of working in NZ?
Okay, let
I'm
me answer
currently a
this.
whole. It's
Yeah,
your
let me
area.
answer-
So
Yeah,
go for it.
let me answer this. Okay, it depends on what sort of visa you're applying. Most MNC, when they send or they second staff to New Zealand, they have two options. One is under specific purpose work visa, okay, and the other is apply as normal accredited employer work visa. Under specific purpose work visa, you will not be eligible to you will not have that resident pathway. Okay, so you need to have accredited employer work visa ideally, because your employer must be accredited. Okay, under the specific purpose work visa is only normally for very short terms. Okay, and not for a longer terms. Okay, so again, you have no you need to meet the 6 points just like any other people. Okay, and you need to have the same skill experience as required, skill employment, and your employer must be accredited. If your employer is not accredited, you're not eligible to apply for a residence.
Great. Thank you for the detailed answer. So it's Josco. I hold a master degree, a 49-year-old university lecturer. My wife is also a master degree holder, a 48-year-old private tutor who also runs the learning center. Our daughter is 13 years old. I would like to ask, without our credentials, who stands a higher chance to get a job in NZ? And so what that the other one can pursue studying PhD? I can answer the question again. Son, you want to go first?
You go first.
Okay, so just ideally, if somebody is going for a PhD and if you can apply for PhD, I will say go for a PhD option, because that gives a family visa in any case, and that gives a lot of opportunity to go for a skilled migrant category or residence pathway. Now going down, there's if you see like a learning center, and again, if it's a 48-year-old, which is your wife. Now, if it's running a learning center, which I understand it can be a tuition center or it can be a uh, if she's working at a kindergarten or early childhood center, or she's a primary or secondary teacher. Now, all the teaching roles are in the green list, which means that again she have options to work in terms of study and work options. Whereas from your end, you can get a full-time work right while she's studying. But in that case, I'll say that even you go for a PhD, you have a good option. Whereas if your wife go for a study from master's or a graduate diploma, she can go towards SMC pathway also, and your daughter can study in school up to the age of 17, 18, or a very minimal cost. Over to you, Son. You want to add into that?
Okay, Josh. Basically, you have more options. I think you are what we call a high caliber candidate. You can email to us and talk to us, and then we will give you a private consultation. Okay, so you understand, what are your options are, because first of all, I need to know what sort of master degree you have. You may be a master in teaching or master in IT. So we need to know that so that we can give you a more comprehensive advice.
Agreed. Oh, totally agreed with that. So coming down to, I think, Janice, hi, may I know if I have masters in business administration, but I would like to study and venture into early childhood education in New Zealand. Is it possible? Could I know the optimal pathway for me? I say yes. Over to you, Son, if you want to add your.
Okay, definitely, Janice. This is there are not many people actually study, say, master and then go on to study a either graduate diploma in ECE, or if your English is good enough, and then you can either do graduate diploma in ECE or master in teaching. There are certain master degree. The reason I keep on saying master degree, because it give I don't know whether you are married or not, or whether you have children or family or not. If you are married and have children, Master degree give you better option because you are able to bring your spouse along, you are able to bring your kids along. But if you're doing a graduate diploma in ECE, which is about a year and plus course, 1.1 year in
1.5,
total.
1.3.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a 15 months.
1.3. Yeah, 1.3 years cost. So it's cheaper, definitely cheaper. But the only thing is that you can only come alone, and then your partners cannot come here and work, and your children you have to stay in Malaysia to study. Okay, so but if you do master degree, the whole family can come, your spouse can work, your children can study. All right, so definitely it's a good option to do a ECE in New Zealand, and there's a master degree that allow you to be able to register as teacher. Most important, you must be able to register as teacher.
I think, yeah, I think Janice, just to add is that someone might be qualification of graduate diploma, which one she is going in, because early childhood may allow for partners to come. But again, if you're going for a qualification which is in,
No,
yeah, so
we have to be very careful here because that qualification is not specified. The teacher is on the green list, but the qualification, if it's not specified, then I mean, we have to look at the green list again. You have to be specified in the green list. It's not specified, you are that's not eligible for partners to come.
okay, so I'll go to the next question. I think again, but Janice, you are in a good side. You can come and do a lot of options. Now, Joss, we don't mind to do a second master degree if it is more viable. Yes, you can do a second master. That is something which is allowed. There is no problem on that. We have people doing double masters or even a PhD after that too.
Yeah, a
so
lot of
that
people
is,
do second master degree. And now, for example, you are a master in IT or master in engineering. Now you want to move on to be in the management or general management, you can do an MBA. That is it's definitely possible.
Yeah. Going down to we have anonymous attendee. Is there a scholarship given to international students if they are interested in studying medicine in NZ? Now, I'll be very open. One, there are limited seat in medicine. There are somehow either no scholarship or very limited scholarship of $5,000 to $10,000. Medicine course for 6 years can go up to $500,000. There are only two universities which are offering, which is Otago and University of Auckland. So, and the seats are limited. So please do check that. I will not give a say very good way that scholarships are pretty high or good. They are limited.
Yeah. The most scholarship for medicines are probably going for New Zealanders. Very, very limited going to overseas students, because unless they are sponsored by MFED, all right. Otherwise, it's very difficult because it's very expensive and it's we have very limited places for medicine, unless but we are I mean, Waikato University is opening another medicine faculty soon. Hopefully, we have three universities doing that. Yeah, so I think to be very blunt and honest, that the chances of getting a scholarship in medicine is very, very slim.
Yeah, agreed. So coming to anonymous entity, if a parent comes from the master program, what fee would the children need to pay if they study undergraduate in NZ University? Would it be international fees or local fees? It'll be international fees. Can't be a local fees because it's up to 18. It is
It will be it definitely will
yeah.
be international fees, because
Yeah.
when we talk about domestic students, it's only available for primary and secondary school.
Great. Going down to can you share the median pay? Median pay is around $29.66 or around $30, but it'll be increasing in month of April if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Sam?
Yeah. In April it will be $31 plus something. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys do check, and we are happy to send guys. You can send an email to us. We are happy to answer your questions or give you the personal consultation if needed. Faiz Ahmed, how is the opportunity of lab technology and microbiologists? What is a good process to for search it? See, again, lab technician, if I'm not wrong, it is in the green list. Microbiologists, we need to check. We need to see your profile, Faiz. If we can get the CV, we can come back to you what options you have and what are the courses available. Son, you want to add anything on this?
Yeah, for medical laboratory technicians, you need to be able to register with the Medical Science Council. Okay, I have clients do that, And once to register as a medical science council, you need a very high standard of English, which is 4.7. Okay, so it is possible. You can keep in touch with us.
Great. Going to Ian Co. Oh, thanks much. So Sarah Lee, hello. How is the NZ cheaper than Australia? I understand the cost of living is very high, plus fees for a bachelor degree is not exactly low as well. See, Sarah, going back again, depend upon what course you're studying, depend upon where you're living, where you're studying, and depend upon uh, what which bachelor, where you're doing bachelor's from. So there is a bachelor ranging from $19,000 a year, which I believe is cheaper than Australia, leading down to $42,000 a year. And again, if you're living in Auckland compared to you're living in Christchurch or Wellington, there are multiple options. So I said there are areas and there are opportunities and how you're which place you're looking in. So you want to add into this?
Yeah, I agree. And for bachelor degree, it really depends on. I have people who do bachelor degree in private college, private institute like IPU in Palmerston North. It's much cheaper in terms of fees and in terms of living costs. So it all depends on what you want. We tell us your budget, then we can actually help you to find the best fit for you. Okay.
Agreed. And then you're welcome to send your CV to us so that we can give you a brief background on whoever you're looking for. We have Malini Jagannathan. I have worked in NZ for 13 years ago in IT sector for about 2 years. I came back to my home country and pursued my degree in teaching, and I'm on a profession now. Will my previous work experience in NZ still be considered?
No.
What do you?
At this moment, we don't care what your previous work experience is. It must be in New Zealand, and it must be. I think they did say that it must be within certain years. Within certain years, it's not the old experience they would not consider anymore.
Sure. But again, Malini, please share the CV with us. We can try to give back to you as much answers. Again, and we are open to have a few more questions, guys. Just even now, this is Praveen. Hi there. I would like to ask, what would the cost of study of masters in NZ, and what are the payments option? Do we have to? Do we have the course for the courses we select? So, Praveen, the cost of study masters range from $30,000 and above for 1 year or 14 months. It can go up to 60 to 70, $80,000, depend which course where you're studying again. Now, the good part of New Zealand is that while you're applying from offshore, it's not mandatory to pay the fees in advance. You can pay the fees after the approval in principle. So the good part is that you can get into New Zealand with 30,000 plus 20,000 living, which is around $50,000, and the fees to be paid after the approval in principle is there from Immigration New Zealand. Is that correct? Now, over to you, Son. You want to add on to this?
Yeah. You can. But there's no installment. Okay, you have to pay in full. All right. It's just that you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay until your visa is approved.
Yeah. So this is the difference between Australia, Canada, and UK. New Zealand don't require fees in advance, but the other difference is that we require 1 year fees after the visa. We don't take 6 months fees.
Yeah.
So, Bart, is there any age restriction to apply for master's degree? No age restriction.
No, I have one student currently 55 years old. I think Bharat know that is applying on MBA. So in the past, I even have one 65 years old, but of course he was not looking at immigration because he was sponsored by the children anyway. So there's no age limit in terms of study in New Zealand.
Yeah. The only thing is that there's an age limit under skilled migrant category. So you have to be very careful on that side if you're migrating. If you have a migration, do send us a CV. We can help you out on the detail. Malini, again, the question comes: please specify the age requirement for accompanying children. Now, children can come at over to you.
Yeah. Okay. So, the children can come in, as a baby, up to 18 years old, as a dependent. Okay, so if they are below 5 years old, they will get a visitor visa. If they are 5 years and above, they will get a student visa, provided the parents are eligible to sponsor them as domestic students.
So Ian, hi. Can I study in New Zealand right after I graduate from New Zealand? If I want to study business in New Zealand, is there a university they provide scholarship for this type of courses. So Ian, I think you want to say that if I study in New Zealand right after I graduate, or I want to work after graduate. So again, you can study to masters also after bachelor's, and you can work after bachelor's also. Now there are universities providing scholarship, which is AUT, Messi, Waikato. So there are multiple university providing scholarship. Again, if you share the CV, we can provide you which options are available for you. I'll give it to Son if you want to answer any more on this question.
Yeah, I think what he meant is that you graduate after high school in New Zealand. Yeah, definitely. If you either from in New Zealand, either you graduate from New Zealand or graduate from Malaysia, so long as you have the meet the university entrance, yeah. So we can
Yeah,
help
he
you.
mentioned that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we
He
can help
mentioned
you.
the graduate from high school, yeah, and we can help you that on that.
Yeah.
So again, Ian, if you are in New Zealand already, reach out to us, email us. We can work and support you on that. Now we have Josh Go again. For children's free study, is it both public or private school? My concern if my child can adapt to switch from international school in Malaysia to a school in NZ, if it is not adapting to Cambridge syllabus. Now, Josh, I have a small answer before I give it to Son. Um, yes, study is free in public only, not in private school. Now, even public schools offer Cambridge or IB boards also. So there are some which are offering that. Now, we just want to see that what level he's studying and what he has been doing. I have not seen a case much that adaptation is a bit difficult, but I'll leave it to Son on that to answer.
Okay. It depends. Like I to be honest, I even have clients who doing master degree and their children are eligible for free public school, but they decided to choose private school, right? Because they have money to pay for it. So it is possible. Okay. What I want to say is that you have to find a school that actually offer Cambridge Southern School. Like for example, I think Auckland Grammar. All right. But Auckland Grammar, there's a criteria. Okay, you must be living in the zone, and sometimes they will have a need to ballot to make sure that you are actually being selected to go to school, because certain schools, even though they're state school, but they are very popular. They offer Cambridge as well, and a lot of people want to go in there, but you must be living in that zone, and there's a requirement how long you have been living there before you're eligible. Yeah. So there are many considerations. Okay. So it's up to you whether you want to send your kids to private, or if you can afford in New Zealand, or public school.
Sure, great. So your question is, if a parent decide to do master and got the visa, how would the child above 18 come along? They will come as a student for studying in tertiary education as an international student, if I'm correct. So
Yeah, they'll be doing international school. Yeah, as international students. So they because they have already passed the primary and secondary school age. So domestic students is only available for primary and secondary school.
and again, they are not a minor; they're a major now, or they're adult. Going to a PC Chok. Hi, good day. Can you share more about accredited work and accredited employer work visa? It's hard to apply job from overseas. Any good advice for this? Can we hold a visitor visa too and go for the job interview in person? Attends it.
Yeah, let me answer this.
Go ahead.
PC
Yeah.
job. Okay. So basically, what you probably you realize that it's very difficult to apply job from overseas. Unless you are very, very special, you have a very, very special talent. Okay. Otherwise, why would an employer want to employ you without seeing you, without meeting you, without having there are many people that will finish studies in New Zealand and they are available for hire as well in New Zealand. And that's why I think you have messaged me before. That's why we encourage you to come here and study. And when you come here and study, you give you a much better options. Okay. Number one, you have New Zealand experience, because when you study, you can work. You understand the culture here. You understand certain lingo, people, business lingo, people here speak. So that would make you feel like more New Zealander when they interview you when you are here. So I still encourage you to come here and study, and then get an open work visa, and then your spouse can get an open work visa as well.
Great. The question from Priya is there. What happens to my kid after kid reaching 18 years? Can my kid still stay in NZ until I finish my study? So Priya, yes, a kid can stay. The only thing is that the kid will go to university or any tertiary education provider and have to pay the international student fee if you are not a resident in the country. They can stay.
Alternatively, they can, if they finish school and they have nothing, but they can still stay as a visitor visa.
Visitor, yeah.
Yeah. A dependent visitor visa can stay quite long. I mean, based on your depending on your visa. So it's not like a 3 months thing, but you know.
Yes, I totally agreed. Now, his Anne is there, and hi there. Good afternoon from Malaysia. I wanted to know if I send my kids to NZ to further his study till master's degree, and if they have fulfilled all the working requirements, can they apply for their parents or to stay with them in New Zealand? Here you go. Yes,
okay. Okay. There are two. I don't know how old your kids. The kids, if your kids is up to 18 years old and they're studying here, the parents can actually come here on guardian visa and stay with the kids. But after 18 years old, that is no longer possible. If you want your kids to sponsor the parents, then they have to become a resident here first. Okay, once they become a resident here and they earn enough money, then they're eligible to sponsor the parents. And there are two ways of sponsoring it. One is a normal channel, which is on ballot. There's a quota number of people that they accept per year. The other one is a parent retirement category. That means that you need to bring in monies to New Zealand and do some investment. Okay, so yeah, it's possible. Most people want their children to study and then get their children to sponsor them later on when they come when they retire. So this is one good option.
Great. Coming on to anonymous attendee, to follow up on the earlier question that a child above 18 comes in a visitor visa, how long the visa is valid? Now, again, we repeat the answer is that child can come above 18 on a visitor visa, but they can come for an international student visa also. Now, over to you, Son, for what the
because you don't want your child sitting home not doing anything, right? So it's best for them to enroll, even if the child is not interested to go to university, but enroll into some vocational course, short courses, very cheap. At least they learn some skill on an international student visa. Okay, so don't allow the kid to sit at home while you study. It is not ideal. So you must make sure that your kids learn something as well. It could be a level 4, level 5 diploma courses like culinary science, do some cooking. Yeah.
Great. Now, I think this is the last question. So thank you everyone for joining. And if you have any questions, please email us. I think, Son, any last minute advice or any few words before we finish the webinar for today?
Yeah, I think those who are interested, email us, and those who are very seriously interested and want to have more discussions, we actually offer, if you want to have a one-to-one consultation, email us, and then we'll send you a link to, but we charge for 250 ringgits for half an hour. Yeah, so if you are interested, we can provide that.
Yeah, again, for student visa counseling, there are opportunities. Again, we can give you guidance on the email. But yes, for a migration pathway, there has to be a one-to-one counseling. It makes it easier for us. Now, thank you everyone for joining from all different parts of the world. Appreciate your given time. Do email us for any further questions. We'll come back to you within 24 to 48 hours. Thank you again. Thank you, Son, for giving the time, and hope all goes well.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.